West Baton Rouge Parish along the River Road, more or less across the river from LSU. And I had a rural childhood. My dad had cows and chickens and pigeons and that sort of thing. I attended Port Allen High School, and the English and French teachers were very influential in my life at that time. I was invited to write articles for the local weekly newspaper, and my instructors put the idea of journalism in my head, so that when I got to LSU, if I had been told I could not major in journalism, I would have had no alternative. And I was on the staff of the Reveille in my senior year. The reasons I returned to Nicholls is because those students at Missouri were destined for success, whether I helped them or not. But I figured at Nicholls I could perhaps make a difference. Nicholls was very small. It was dominated by ROTC. The faculty, I think, numbered about 22. ROTC was on its way out, but ROTC dominated student events, student character, and Nicholls students were very, very talented, and they were as good as students anywhere else. The students were highly disciplined, very courteous, dressed neatly, and the influence of ROTC, I think, prevailed for at least 10 years after ROTC left. Back then, a semester of tuition was perhaps only about $25. And as a matter of fact, I think in 1958, Dr. Elkins, President Elkins, in answer to somebody's question, what does it cost to get a degree from Nicholls? A 4-year degree back then cost $800, and most of the money went for noon meals. And the state of Louisiana was paying most of the cost. Back then, students were paying less than 5% of the cost of their higher education. Today, students are paying about 50%. We were able to get it started in 1972, I think, because students kept asking me, why don't we have a degree in journalism? And I would send them to the dean, and the dean one day said, stop sending students to me with that question. So the next time a student asked me, I said, go see President Galliana. He stopped me and he says, what can we do to get a degree program started? A survey was taken of students, and we started a communication arts degree program. And it was very, very successful from the outset. The only disappointing thing about it is I taught practically all of the courses. Well, I enjoy writing, I enjoy interviewing. When you interview and research, you learn. And I discovered a lot about Nicholls in researching these books. For instance, one of the things I discovered, and I had forgotten it, is in the late 1950s, the Louisiana legislature got all taken up with MCARTHYISM and was concerned about communism on Louisiana campuses. And in the presidential files, I was astonished to find out that back then, I was the one who had to round up the roster of all the student organizations, the membership, the purposes, and send that to the State Secretary of Louisiana Secretary of State. I had forgotten that because I thought at the time it was ridiculous. I think Nicholls' future is going to be terrific. Nicholls is growing. I think it's growing in the right direction. Selective admissions is working. We have a lot of new physical facilities that I think are exciting, and there are more on the way. Education and higher education are becoming more and more important all the time. And going back to what we were talking about earlier, one of the most important things about Nicholls is in 1948, it made higher education available easily for the first time to students in this area, whereas previously high school graduates just did not go to college. And so Nicholls opened that door.